doing. And so proven track record for bringing trails into towns. But also just the way that I see it too, it's almost like a destination. If it's done right? If it's really thought out and done right, like they have around the country, it really is a place you want to go to. And
kind of get into what you said about property values. I did hear that there's been like several studies that were made, and it talked about like a 7 to 20% increase within commercial and residential property values going up that much. So I mean that's exciting. You know, like if you're within the 1 mile radius of the trail, like they're projecting a 7 to 20% increase in your property value.
Well, walkability communities are very highly sought after, and for multiple reasons. Not only just the actual convenience of it itself, but also keeping people active. Not having to get into your car, it takes down on pollution. You don't have to worry about parking and finding parking places, especially like, for example, in New York, to where they have that particular trail running. Like that's a huge benefit. And plus, just being able to parlay different businesses right off the trail is huge. It's huge. So like when I look at this map and I see, for example, Future Estero, on the river park, like I envision, kayaks and, future businesses that have kayaks for rent that can actually go right out and fly fishing, and like the possibilities are, things like that, are endless.
Right. And what's cool too is not only just the trail itself and the businesses along the trail, but then it starts to spread east to west as well. So you can imagine like developments now are rethinking, okay, well, maybe we're bringing in so many foot traffic, maybe this makes sense to have a business here or there, develop certain lots that are vacant right now, or lots that are hard to use, right? So it is really interesting, which is why we had printed out to kind of tell the story. It's really hard when you see this map, it's really hard to understand the layers. Yeah, so in our office, we literally...
It's really cool.
It's not a great video because I'm the one that shot the video.
I think it's phenomenal. It's like here.
Yeah.
It shows all the hard work that actually is put in this behind the scenes.
So this was just my way of thinking of like, okay, we need to like blow up this map for people to understand the possibilities and like what is along this trail. Right now, there's schools along this trail, there's breweries along this trail, there's, a potential connection to Coconut Point. You have a huge corporation like Hertz off of it, Lee Health.
This is your office?
Yeah, this is
I love it.
By the way, that's like my second office.
Yeah, Jonathan
Natalie's
just shows
got
up.
a desk for me there.
I got to play it again. Let me get back there.
Yeah, Jonathan likes to.
He's fast.
We work at the.
I did shoot that pretty fast because I didn't want to.
Yeah, so
see me shooting.
because you're really thinking about it in segments. So this is like the river intersection.
See here, make pause. Bam, boom.
So there's it's a pretty long trail, and so
look at there. Look at that. Who is that? Who is that? I love it.
Oh my gosh.
Let me get back. We don't make her blush. Everybody.
I know, guys. So what we did, so I printed it out on we had this huge pinup board, and we had
so
a
tell
workshop.
Me when to stop and go.
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
We had this workshop. The very first workshop was with, we invited the city of Bonita Springs, Village of Estero, private business owners, people in downtown Bonita, just so we can kind of explain our idea and what we think this trail can be in their opinion. And so how could we tell the story, right? Because we really want to craft a story for everyone to know. Because right now the story is just that there's this trail that is an abandoned railroad that they're going to put a paved bike. And so Deb has worked really hard on changing that narrative, and there's been a lot of stuff that we've been putting out there to help inform people. And we do, and really, in the end of the day, we need everybody's support, and everybody has been very supportive of this. So it's all positive.
Who are some of the people that, or can you name any of the businesses that have actually, donated? I'm sure they want to be recognized.
Yeah, and I don't know. They're on the website. We're on there too, but I think
tell her by the website at the end of the episode.
Yeah, there is. I don't know all the businesses, but there is a link of all the different sponsorships there. But I know like Rooftop was there to help talk about their section, right? So Bonita Springs, we had Rooftop there. We had
and that's the food truck part.
Yes,
downtown.
yes,
Got it.
yeah. and we had the city of Bonita Springs. And so what we did was we kind of divided ourselves into groups, and we kind of determined along the trail what was the priority. And we said that to tell the story, the priority is downtown Bonita Springs, and then the village of Estero, where the village of Estero has a couple of projects underway. One of them is right off of the river called River Park.
Okay.
And
It's currently underway right now.
yes, there's
All
two
right.
phases, phase 1, phase 2. And it's basically this 64 acres of preserve, and they're going to keep the south side of the river all preserved, and they're adding restaurant. Well, there'll be a commercial portion, and there's like a restroom with a bridge. So that's right off the trail. So the opportunity, like you were saying, imagine having a little place right there where you could rent bikes or kayaks. There's the Estero Outfitters that's been there for a long time. That's really successful. And
Right.
so that'll just bring traffic to them. So
And
that
so
there's just
for our viewers, just so they know, you have Naples, and you have, which is in Collier County, and you have Fort Myers, which is in Lee County. So the connecting portions are Bonita and Estero. So this is the main corridor that we're speaking of right now, to have this trail that runs along, and eventually it'll go from Collier all the way to Tampa.
yeah,
That's
it goes up
wild.
it goes up north. Yeah,
That
part
is
of the
crazy.
Florida Gulf Coast. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
but-
no, it's okay. There's just so the village of Estero and city of Bonita Springs have already been actively thinking about this for a while, and so at least in those parcels made a lot of sense. And if you've ever been on the river right there in the village where that new river park will be, it's just very magical,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's
Untouched.
untouched. Yeah, and
Yes.
so what's really cool is that they're going to keep it that way by keeping the preserve.
Right.
And can you just imagine being on a bike trail and then having that as one of your stops?
I love it.
And so then you keep riding your bike, you
Mhm.
head down, you can stop at this new sports complex that's coming for the village of Estero. So there's that High Five pickleball complex that's
Okay.
is already underway for development.
Pickleball's- it's
Yeah,
the new rave right
everybody
now.
loves pickleball. I have not played
This is something, by the
pickleball
way,
yet.
Estero and Bonita really need. We definitely need more
Yeah.
parks.
Well,
and
all
things
of our
like that,
orthopedic surgeons really love pickleball. So maybe
Yeah,
it's-
I haven't even played yet. I'm gonna have to try that. But
So this trail reminds me. My wife's from Minnesota, from Stillwater.
Okay.
And right there in the St. Croix, and you have Wisconsin and you have Minnesota, and they have converted this huge bridge that leads you directly into the other state. And it's almost the same exact thing, but there's a smaller portion.
okay,
So
yeah,
I mean, I'm really, really excited.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
this is awesome.
so imagine riding your bike again,
Mm-hmm.
keep going south, and you hit Coconut Point.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Which is a
shopping
huge
galore,
outdoor
right?
mall.
And so right now, Coconut Point, the entrance is really off of 41, right?
Right.
If this trail were to come online, they really should rethink a bit more pedestrian-friendly facade, right?
Mhm.
Entrance from the back, which is
Mhm.
underutilized. So, that helps if the project, once the project, not if, because it's going to happen.
Right, right.
Um,
Well, there's $35 million invested.
yeah,
so it
we've
will
got this,
definitely
guys.
happen.
No pressure. Once it happens, they could rethink that development that they're doing right now, and hopefully connect that. And so that's already we had those conversations. And so what we've been trying to do is kind of like inform the businesses of what we're trying to do,
Mhm.
get them excited,
Mhm.
get their support.
Yeah. Prep it.
Right.
Mhm.
And so you keep riding your bike. You're going to hit downtown Bonita. You're going to stop at Hopsize Brewing Company,
Mhm.
and then you're going to go to Ceremony Brewing. You can make a whole beer tour.
You're gonna
Do it
get
like the
That's kinda what I want to
do.
do.
Yeah,
Uber
so-
bike racks.
Right. So there's and then you can go down to Wolf Moon and get a great croissant.
Yeah, great.
There's a cute little boutique there that I like there too, in that whole complex. They did such a great job with that
It's
little
phenomenal.
corner.
It's really
Yeah,
cool.
and it's just like those little moments are fun, and there's just you could stop at the Shangri-La. There's the farmers market. There's just so much opportunity because there's so much activity in that little urban area, versus like the village. What they're trying to do over by the river is more preserved, right? It's more natural. So it's really fun to have like these different moments along the trail.
And this is all in a 15-mile.
Yeah, and the
or
11.5.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
but so the overall trail is 14.9.
Okay.
But the first phase is 11.5.
Got
So,
it.
yeah.
It's a lot of transition. It's cool.
Yeah, and when it crosses Bonita, Bonita
So
Beach Road,
I have
we're
a
gonna have
question
a
about that
bridge.
from a safety standpoint. not to put you on the spot,
Yeah.
but I am curious. So when you cross our major intersections, so like Bonita Beach Road
Right.
is a major intersection, will people be crossing the intersection, or would this be a bridge that goes over?
Yeah, it'll be a bridge that goes over.
Ah.
So in Sarasota, there's a trail called the Paradise. Oh no, it's not Paradise Coast. That's in Collier County. I'm sorry. It's Legacy Trail.
Okay.
Legacy Trail. How could I forget that? And we've based a lot of it based off of the Legacy Trail because
Okay.
it's very similar. The difference between the Legacy Trail is just the intersection. Like there's a lot more urban intersections here,
Mhm.
like downtown Bonita. So the Legacy Trail has those pedestrian bridges that you know when there's major intersections.
So
that
you don't
can
have
kind
to
of,
worry about that. So it's taken,
Right.
it's safe.
Right. It should be, yeah, that the goal is that it is safe. So that image that
Yeah,
you
go back
just
to that one.
showed,
Is that, oh, hold up.
that was
next
the
one.
next one, yeah.
Oh, the next one? Okay,
Yeah.
hold up.
That
Not
one.
that you're going anywhere.
So this one, this is an aerial view of what that trail looks like right now
Okay.
in Bonita
So right
Springs. Right. So if you've been downtown, this is their Riverside Park,
Mm-hmm.
and the trail is right here. Like
And which
you're
river is
pointing.
this?
That is the Imperial River.
Got it. Okay. Which goes all the way to the Gulf.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two little, the one over there in the north of that is a pedestrian bridge that connects this really beautiful like oak park.
Okay.
And then this piece right here, this is all owned by the city of Bonita Springs.
All right.
And right now it's underutilized.
Mhm.
And the other part right there, that the bridge there is like, it would be like a historic bridge because
Mhm.
it'll be hard to take
That's
that
the
out.
old train
but-
track.
Right. So the goal is to take this train track and replace it with a walking path, bike path. And then, so what we envision in this particular area here is how can we intersect this and create more of a connection between all the stuff that the city of Bonita Springs is doing already.
Gotcha.
They're already renovating this.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be nice. They're adding another like splash pad park out here.
Oh, wow.
We have Sugar Shack, which isn't even shown in this is in this image here.
Mhm.
So there's just like a lot of activity happening here,
Mhm.
and this part here is just not even really used. You
So
know,
this is downtown Bonita Springs,
Right
just
now,
so
yeah.
everybody knows
Right.
what we're looking at.
I don't know if you got the images, John. I sent you a text of the ones of the renderings that we did.
Okay. Hit on that group text that we got.
Yeah, I put
Did
it
you?
on there. Yeah.
All right. Let's see here.
So if you go to this one, yeah, this is still in progress, guys.
Oh, okay.
This is in progress,
fancy.
guys. Yeah, just
This
show
is,
this one.
This is who you work for. This is
Well, Schultz, I should have mentioned that in the beginning.
Shingle Schultz, guys. So
Represent.
this particular rendering here, this is what the city is already working on, right? They're renovating, doing some paving, and we're trying to
It's
show
very close to looking like this right now, right?
right this piece here.
Correct.
What we're working on right now is you can see what that trail is going to look like, right? So this is now with the trail
Mhm.
shown. And our idea and our concept is what can you imagine there, right? So
Mm.
this isn't what is actually going. We're trying to propose something
Right.
like, why don't we have more connectivity, right?
Mhm.
And have maybe instead of having that abandoned like depot park
Right.
that's underutilized with the small playground, maybe
Mhm.
make that an event area or farmers market,
Right.
a stage setup so that when there's events happening down here, there's
I love it.
venues for that, right? So
That's awesome.
beer garden was one of my ideas. But
Yeah, keep the faith on.
I'm just like trying to make a beer trail. And then the other one is, you know, maybe this portion up here is an iconic playground,
Mhm.
something that's a little bit more, that tells the story of Bonita Springs, that's
Mhm.
more about nature. Maybe there's like a tower that's like wayfinding so that you know, like once you're coming from the river or anywhere that you're in the Bonita Springs node, right? So that's the part that we're working on right now. It's still under progress, but
Mhm.
the goal is like to show what it is now
Mhm.
and to show like the opportunity of what it can be. And that gets people excited because it's hard for people to understand until they see it.
Mhm.
That people aren't visual people. So
Yeah, this is
like,
an awesome rendering.
And if you're unfamiliar with downtown Bonita Springs, if you go backwards roughly 3 years, it looked nothing like this.
No.
So the transformation has happened rapidly, and and once you get people on board that see the vision, like it just, the speed increases. So this
Yeah.
is it's going to be a beautiful thing.
So
Can we
if,
pull the next one up?
yeah, there
Okay.
was an image. I want to show you what it is now.
This one here?
Jonathan, I don't
What
know
is
if he
this?
sent you. That's the If you go, Jonathan, did you send him this image? Maybe I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you right now.
Okay.
What about outdoor gyms?
Yeah.
Should do something like that.
Here's the whole crew. Anybody curious?